What's going on, and welcome back to the Ovens Garage. Today we're going to be installing some upgraded door parts for my first gen Cummins. This is my 1992 Dodge W250. Typical with these trucks is the door panels on the interior will flex a lot, as well as these exterior door handles will flex a lot on the door skins. So we've got a solution from Metal by Charlie over at New Era Performance. He makes some great upgraded door parts for these trucks, and we're going to install them on this truck today, and I'll show you how to do that. Here's an example of the exterior door handle flexing on the door skin. So you can see as you pull this up and down, or if you were just pulling out on it when you're opening the door, it flexes on the door skin. All that's holding this door handle on is just this imprinted part of the door skin, and there's two nuts on the back side. So you can see it flexes quite a bit. Now, unless you just push the button and let the door come into your hand, this can, over time, wear out, and sometimes it will develop cracks from where the nuts go on the backside of the door skin out. This one's actually in pretty good shape, but I've seen some trucks are a lot worse shape than this. So Charlie has developed some plates that go on the backside of these handles, and that'll really stiffen up this door handle once that's on the backside of this and prevent this movement from happening. And on the interior side, what is most common on these trucks is you'll see how much this door panel flexes. So when you're closing this door or opening it, you can really see how much this door panel flexes, and that's because the inside of this door, where the inner part of the door is made up of, it really flexes, and I'll show you once I have this door panel off why that's happening. But again, Charlie has made a reinforcing bar that goes across, and once we get that in there, that'll really eliminate most of this play. And here's just a quick look at the parts here from New Era Performance. So this goes on the back side of the door handle, inside the door skin, to reinforce the door handle. And then, as I was talking about, for the interior of the door, this goes inside of the interior of your door and bolts up in a couple spots, as well as this backing plate for the door handle. And it really stiffens things up. So we'll get the door panel off and we'll show you how to install this. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is pull the door panel off. 2 screws at the bottom, the screw in the middle by the door handle. If you have power door locks and power door windows, there's a tab on the inside. Push that and you can pull it out of the frame. Pull your door handle and take out the 3/8 bolt that's holding on the door handle. And at this point, we should have everything off. All we have to do is just pry with our plastic pry tool and get all the door clips off. Behind this, a number of years ago, I installed some sound deadening. So you're not gonna see the same thing that I see here for what's behind your door, unless you've done this. I do recommend doing it if you haven't done it, because it really brings down the noise in the cab for both your doors. And I did this all under the carpet. And we'll just feed through our door lock and power window switch, and the panel will come right off. Careful, you might lose some clips. And here's the sound deadening I was talking about. When I installed this, I put on Velcro. So this should, in theory, easily come off. So you can see here, I put the hook side on one side of the sound deadener and then the loop on the door. So it should be easy to take off, but it's kind of adhered in some spots just from the heat. Okay, so I'm gonna put the window in the up position. And here's a better example of the door flex itself, even when you're just using the power windows. So you can see just how much that moves from the power windows going up and down. There's a really good shot of how much that actually flexes. So we'll put the window in the up position. Now use a 7/16 socket to remove the door handle mechanism. There's a plate on the back side that you'll want to catch as you remove these 2 bolts. And here's the plate on the back side. So before you can pull this door handle mechanism out, there's a rod that goes across and attaches for this door linkage here. You can see the red plastic piece at the end. That needs to pop off, and then you can pull the door linkage right out. So we'll pop that down and then pull it back. You can see it just came right out. Now we can pull this door handle mechanism out. We can go ahead and insert the new reinforcing bar. Keep in mind the tabs that go out are going to be on the inside of the door here, and then this piece that shoots up gets tucked underneath this part of the metal of the door. Okay, so now that this reinforcing bar is loosely in place, we can take our door handle reinforcement piece here. You can see with the slots at the top, just lines right up with the inner part of the door panel. We'll throw in 2 bolts and nuts, and we'll just loosely throw those in until we can align up our door handle again. So we'll go ahead and take our door handle, slide the rod back in, and I'm gonna hook up the linkage before I put in the 2 bolts here. Okay, I've got the door linkage hooked back up now. I'm gonna put the door handle mechanism back on with the backing plate. So we'll get the 2 factory bolts in there with the backing plate through the new reinforcement piece. And we'll tighten up these 2 bottom 3 bolts. I'm gonna push up on the reinforcing bar just to make sure it's snug up against the bottom of the interior door panel. It's a 7/16 nut on the back side. Okay, now that I've gotten these 4 bolts tightened up, you can see this hole is lining up with the inner door panel and our reinforcing bar. We want to take a bolt, nut, and a washer to go through our new reinforcing bar through this hole. Tighten this guy up. All right, so at this point, everything's tight here in the middle. Now we just have our exterior portions that go through the inner part of the door frame here. So we take our 1/4-inch drill bit. We're gonna drill a hole into both of the outside holes, and we'll put in a bolt with a washer on the back sides of those. And then on this side, and it really is simple as that. So you can see how it's much more reinforced now. And I'll try out the window. Much stronger. Okay, now we'll move on to the door backing plates. Take a flathead screwdriver, pop out this vent. You gotta push down, there's 2 tabs that will allow this vent to come out on the door. See there? Now we have access to our linkage rod here. We'll just pop that open, pull it out. Now there's 2 7/16 nuts. You can access through 2 holes. Now we can pop the door handle out. Now that the door handle's out, you can see here where the bolt holes are. In some cases, now this door isn't too bad, but in some cases the cracking will start to develop from these holes where the handle's bolted to the door. And you can see how nicely this new plate fits up against the back of the door handle. So we'll go ahead, put the door handle back in, put the plate up against the door handle, and bolt it back down. All right, easy as that, it's back on. We can reconnect our door linkage and pop the vent back on. And next we can get the door panel back in, then we'll be done. I'll get my sound deadener back on. Then we'll get the door panel on. Now we'll do one more test on the doors. You can see here it's nice and stiff now. The door panel barely flexes when we pull on the door. And our close-up on the door handle itself. You can see how this is much more sturdy. And it feels really nice when you open and close it. And here's a shot from inside the truck. It really feels a lot more sturdy. Feels really nice when you close the door now. And we'll test out the power windows. So I'm really happy with the way that these parts stiffen up these doors. Super happy with the way it turned out. Hopefully you enjoyed this install video, and if you want to do the same thing in your truck, I'll link the parts down in the description box below. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.